Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the principles of managerial economics. So here's the introduction to managerial economics. Managerial economics is both conceptual and metrical. Before the substantive decision problem which fall within the purview of managerial economics are discussed, it is important to identify and understand some of the basic concepts underlying the subject. It is the integration of economic principles with the business management practices. Managerial economics is a discipline which deals with the application of economic theories to the business management. It also deals with the use of economic concepts and the principle underlying the subject. It simply means that economics provide tools and managerial economics apply these tools to the business management. Principles of managerial economics. Economic principles assist in rational reasoning and defined thinking. They develop logical ability and strength of the manager. Some important principles of the managerial economics are incremental principle, EQUI principle, opportunity cost principle, time perspective principle, discounting principle, risk and uncertainty principle. Now we'll start with the incremental principle. This principle states that a decision is said to be rational and sound if given the firm objective of profit maximization. It leads to the increase in profit, which is in either two scenarios. If total revenue increases more than the total cost, and if total revenue decline less than the total cost. Incremental concept in managerial economics involve two important activities which are as follow. Estimating the impact of decision alternative on cost and revenues, emphasizing the change in the total cost and total revenue resulting from the change in the price, product, procedure, investment, or whatever may be at the stake in that position. The two basic components of incremental reasoning are as follows. Incremental cost. It may be defined as a change in the total cost resulting from a particular decision. Incremental revenue means the change in the total revenue resulting from a particular decision. A decision is obviously profitable if the increase in revenue is more than the cost. It reduces cost more than the revenue. It decreases some cost to the greater extent than increases other cost. It increases some revenue more than it increases other cost. A simple problem will illustrate this point. Suppose a new order is estimated to bring in an additional revenue of Rs 3000. The costs are estimated as under labor for Rs 800, material for Rs 1300, overhead charges for Rs 1000, selling and distribution charges for Rs 700. The total cost of these heads is 3800. At a glance, the order appears to be unprofitable, but suppose the firm has some idle capacity that can be utilized to produce output of new order. There may be some efficient use of existing labor and no additional selling and administration expenses to be incurred. In this case, the actual incremental cost is as follows. Labor for Rs 600, material for Rs 1000, overhead charges for Rs 800. The total incremental charges for these heads will be 2400. Thus, there is a profit of Rs 3000. The order can be accepted on the basis of incremental reasoning. Incremental reasoning does not mean that the firm should accept all the order at the price which cover merely their incremental cost. Here in this case, the acceptance of Rs 3000 order depends upon the existence of idle capacity and labor that would go underutilized in the absence of more profitable opportunity. Second principle is EQUI principle. The law of EQUI utility is an extension to the law of diminishing marginal utility. The principle of EQUI utility explains the behavior of a consumer in distributing his limited income among various goods and services. This law states that how a consumer allocates his money income between various goods so as to obtain maximum satisfaction. Now, the question is, how he would allocate his money income among various goods, that is to say, what will be his equilibrium position in respect of the purchase of various goods. It may be mentioned here that a consumer is assumed to be rational, that is, he coldly and carefully substitute goods for one another so as to maximize his utility or satisfaction. We know this principle states that consumer utility is maximized when marginal utility of all currency of goods is equal. In this equation, MU is the marginal utility, P represents the price of the goods, A, B, and C denotes the respective goods. Say, I give your friend rupees 100 and ask him to buy 3 commodities, sandwich, chips, and a chocolate, the prices of which are 16 rupees for sandwich, 12 rupees for chips, 8 rupees for chocolate. Now, if I ask you to answer the question that how much quantity of each product will a person buy, your answer might be, I don't know, that's up to him. But if I ask you a question that on what basis will he decide the quantities he is buying? Tricky question, right? The answer to this is law of equimarginal utility. Assuming that your friend is rational consumer, that is, he's normal, he'll try to spend his money income in all 3 commodities in such a way that he attains maximum satisfaction. By applying this formula, that is, by equating the ratio of marginal utility with the price. Remember that your friend has to spend rupees 100 on all commodities in such a way that he attains the maximum satisfaction. Let us assume that from the given quantities, your friend derive from the additional unit of sandwich, which means that when your friend eats first sandwich, he gets 128 unit of utility. From second sandwich, his utility decreases to 96 and so on. Now, to find the ratio, we need to apply the formula, that is MU divided by the price. We know that the price of the sandwich is rupees 16 and the MU from the first sandwich he derived is rupees 128. Hence, the ratio will translate to 8. Similarly, we have the data for marginal utility of chips and chocolate as well. Remember, as a rational consumer, your friend will try to equate the marginal utility to the price of 3 commodities. Let us say your friend equates the ratio of 8 of all 3 commodities. In that case, he will be consuming 1 quantity of sandwich for rupees 16, 2 chips for rupees 24, 3 chocolate for rupees 24. However, by doing this, your friend is not spending entire rupees 100 but only 64. And we wish to know that how he spent rupees 100 to gain maximum satisfaction. Let's try second ratio. Let's say your friend tried to equate the ratio of 6. In that case, your friend will be having 2 sandwich for rupees 32, 3 chips for rupees 36 and 4 chocolate for rupees 32. This case, he will be spending entire rupees 100. So what does this mean? Remember our original question that how will he allocate entire rupees 100 on 3 commodities to get maximum satisfaction from it. So given rupees 100, your friend will buy 2 unit of sandwich, 3 unit of chips and 4 chocolates to gain the maximum satisfaction. This is the principle of equimarginal utility. The next principle is opportunity cost principle. Opportunity cost principle is related and applied to the scarce resource. When there are alternative uses of scarce resource, one should know which is best alternative and which is not. One should also know that what they have gained by the best alternative and what they have lost by the left alternative. Making a choice means comparing the alternative and selecting the one that will give you the highest satisfaction or net benefit. It also means that you are giving up on the value of the next best alternative. So as to understand this concept, let us take an example of Jake. Jake can either eat apple or burger. If he decided to eat apple, he can only eat 3 apple, and if he decided to eat burger, he can only eat 6 burger. Because his time is scarce, he cannot eat both at the same time. He either gonna eat 3 apple or 6 burger in a day. Again, this is what we mean by the scarcity. Here John faces the dilemma that he must make choice between what he can eat and what he cannot. Now, may I ask you, what is the opportunity cost of the burger? Or in other words, how much apple does he give up for every burger? Now we know that if he eats 6 burger, he will have to give up 3 apple in exchange of those 6 burger. In numerator, we have the amount of apple given up, and in denominator, we have how many burger gained by giving up those apples. So, here he has given up 3 apple for 6 burger, or we can also say that half apple for per burger. That is, Jake has to give up half apple for every burger that he has. And on the other hand, if I ask you what is the opportunity cost of the apple, to calculate this, we will put 6 burger in numerator and 3 apples in denominator. So we have 6 over 3, which is 2 burger per apple. So that is how we calculate the opportunity cost. The value of the foregone benefit or the opportunity is called opportunity cost. In the world of scarcity, making choices involves cost. If you choose to eat burger, your opportunity cost is any activity you could have done but given up on. The next principle is time perspective principle. The time perspective principle states that the decision maker must give due consideration to both the long and the short term decision. He must make due emphasis on the various time period. It was Marshall who introduced the time element in economic theory. The actual problem in decision making is to maintain the right balance between the long and the short term consideration. Short term means the period within which some inputs, also called fixed input, cannot be changed. Long term, on the other hand, means that period within which all input, fixed as well as variable, can be changed. Economists try to study the effect of the policy decisions on variables like cost, price, revenue, etc. in the light of these time distinctions. The firm which ignore the long and short term consideration will meet the failure, and it can be explained with the following illustration. Suppose a firm having idle capacity receive an order for 10,000 units of its product. The consumer is willing to pay only rupees 4 per unit or rupees 40,000 for the whole lot, but not more. The short term incremental cost, ignoring the fixed cost, is only rupees 3. Therefore, the contribution to the overhead and the profit is rupees 1 per unit or rupees 10,000 for the lot. And if the firm execute this order, it will have to face the following repercussions in the long run. It may not be able to give up. May also demand the similar product at the low price. Third, the image of the firm may be spoiled with the business community. The next principle is discounting principle. One of the ideas in economics is that a rupee tomorrow is worth less than a rupee today. Discounting refers to the time value of money. A money in hand is more valuable than the money received tomorrow. The money value also depreciates with the time. Here in this formula, PVF represents the present value of fund. N is the period and R is the rate of discount. The mathematical techniques for adjusting for time value of money and computing present value is called discounting. The concept of discounting future is based on the fundamental fact that a rupee now is worth more than a rupee earned a year after. The concept of discounting future is based on the fundamental fact that a rupee to be earned now is worth more than a rupee earned a year after, even if there will be a certain future return. Yet, it must be discounted because to wait for the future implies a sacrifice for the present. Unless these returns are discounted to find the present value, it is not possible to judge whether or not it is worth undertaking the investment today. In the business, everybody prefer to do cash sale rather than the credit sale, and even they are ready to give cash discount for the cash sale. The reason is we will get the money today, and today's rupees is more valuable than tomorrow's rupees. But in credit sale, we will get the money tomorrow or in the future time, and nobody give the cash discount for the credit sale. The next principle is risk and uncertainty principle. Managerial decisions are action of today which bear fruit in the future which is unforeseen. Future is uncertain and involve risk. The uncertainty is due to the unpredictable changes in the business cycle, structure of the economy, and government policies. This means that the manager must assume the risk of taking decisions for the institution in uncertain and unknown economic conditions in the future. The firm may be uncertain about production, market prices, strategies of rivals, etc. Under uncertainty, the consequences of an actions are not known immediately for certain. Economic theories generally assumes that a firm has perfect knowledge of its cost and demand relationship and of its environment also. The uncertainty is not allowed to affect the business decisions. Uncertainty arises because producers simply cannot foresee the dynamic changes in the economy and hence cost and revenue data of their firm with reasonable accuracy. So that's all for today. I hope you liked the video. Thank you.